Super. Okay, so I don't usually do this. I don't usually record fasting in the morning when I wake up. In fact, what I prefer to do when I wake up is to read a book for about an hour. I don't believe in looking at screens fasting when I wake up. But as you can see, is the title of this stream. It's called Dreamland Records. I had a really weird dream, and for some reason, I just feel like I need to record it. I think this is more for my own sake than for anybody else's sake. I just want to have a record of this dream to analyze it in the future and to make sense of it in the future. So I'm going to try and account this dream as accurately and as I'm pretty sure there's some things about this dream that I'm going to leave out or that I'm going to skip on, but there is the fundamentals of this dream that I am going to try and reaccount. Anyway, so this dream, it starts off as if there is a war that I was fighting. There's a war that I had been fighting. Now, as you noticed, we have changed games. We are now playing Far Cry 5. Perhaps that had something to do with what I was dreaming, but I don't know. This dream felt a little bit more personal than just me having changed games. So, like I say, the dream starts off with me in the middle of a war with some friends. We had been fighting all manner of things, but it felt more like it was a spiritual war that we had been fighting. Anyway, there's this creature, and when I say creature, the entity that I'm talking about, it wasn't like this hideous creature. It was just a human being. It looked like me. It looked like any other person. But the reason I call it this creature is because it had his nails. It was this man with like crazy strong nails, short nails, crazy strong. And he had a strength about him that was unnatural. And he had been terrorizing us for so long. And we were in the middle of a war with this creature, and we were trying to capture it to, I guess, try and kill it. That was the idea, I believe. And so we ended up doing something, and we ended up catching this creature, and we ended up restraining it. And we are all excited, and we are thinking to ourselves, yes, finally we're going to rid ourselves of this creature. But because we know that this creature is demonic, let's just call it this demonic creature, we say to ourselves, we need to figure out a manual, and we need to restrain it in some special restraints so that we can figure out how we are going to destroy this creature. Now, at some point, we have it captured, we put it in the special bag, and then we had like this gurney that we were going to tied up and zipped up. Only the head would be out of this special bag, and then we would put it on this gurney and have it locked up with extra restraints. It was supposed to be this really secure thing that we had figured out. Now, as I had done the first restraint, and I was now working on the second restraint, and I was working on trying to tighten up this restraint. And as I was doing that, I realized that this thing, it had come out of the bag, and it was looking at me, and it was smiling while it was looking at me. And in that moment, I remembered something. No, don't go biting. I remembered something. I remember that this was a war we had been fighting with this creature, and we had been fighting it for so long, and it was like it was a repeat, and every time we fought it, we would learn something new about this war that would get us closer to being able to destroy this creature, but we had not yet gotten there. And so I was so frustrated at that thought. But what I decided was I was going to learn something new about this war today. So I looked at it and I thought, what am I supposed to learn today? So I think to myself, because this thing is smiling at me, and it's smiling at me like you're never going to be able to finish me off. So I think to myself, and I think, wait a minute, there must be something in this. If we've been fighting for this long, there must be something in this environment, or something that is allowing this creature to get away from us. So the creatures, so I say to myself, I know what it is that keeps making us lose this war. And I say to everybody, I've got it. I know what it is. I know how we can win this war. And this man, he starts, at some point he starts slashing again. And of course we have been fighting for so long that as he's slashing, I'm dodging and everything, and he gets away. Right. He runs away, and so I send a few of my friends to go and try and restrain him. And I say as he's trying to, as my boy is trying, as the rest of the team has gone to try and restrain him, the rest of us say, you know what, we need to go and look for, because we figured out there must be some technology in the environment, or something around close by, that keeps freeing him, because we had restrained him so well, and yet he still was able to get away from us. So we're like, let's go look for this thing, right? And we go out, and we're looking, and I remember we're in an old neighborhood. So we're looking, and eventually we get to this tower. And the reason it caught my eyes, because there's something in the tower, there was an eye in the tower that was following us. Right? It was almost like Lord of the Rings, but high tech. It was like a 5G tower with just a camera but the whole tower kept turning and watching me and watching. So I was like, wait, look at this, right? This tower, it keeps turning as I move around, and so I tell my guys, I think this is where it is. I think this is where the thing that has been letting this demon get away from us is. So we go up to the tower and we're trying to figure out how this thing works. When we get to the tower, we're looking, and we can't figure out what it is. But we end up finding that there's some food at this tower, right? So basically, we realized that one of our friends had been saving up resources for the, because like I told you, this is a war we had been in for a while, and we had resources all over the place, and this was actually one of the places where we had kept our resources. And we realized that there is food at this tower, and so we were distracted by the food, and I start eating because I'm hungry, right? We have been fighting for so long. We're trying to figure out this tower and we can't figure it out. So there's this food, there's rice and beans here. And mind you, the idea I think was that it's kind of like military food. You know how you have packed military food where you can it can stay good for really long. So that's the idea. So it was this rice, it tasted really good, but it was supposedly really old food. Now, after the meal, I got a tummy ache and I need to take a dump. And so I decided, okay, you guys can continue trying to figure out this tower. I need to take a dump. So I'm taking a dump in a toilet somewhere close by. And I'm taking this, as I'm taking a shit, another fight breaks out there, and I don't know if it's part of our fight, but the sense I was getting was that it's a different fight, although the people that were in that fight seemed familiar. They were like, they seemed like people we had they seemed like people we had spoken to about something of interest to us at some point. And so I was like, alright, they seem to be making some headway. I'm happy for them. But as they were going through the motions and the chaos of whatever it is they were doing, the battle spilled into where I was taking a shit. And for some reason that felt really embarrassing because the soldiers were walking into my toilet and it's like I had no more privacy. Which, mind you, it wasn't like I was taking a shit in a bathroom. I was just taking a shit next to the tower outside. Just, I guess I was just a little bit hidden, right? I didn't have people walking all around, in and out of this very open space. Even my friends, I had sent them out, so they had gone out and they were doing something away there. So at some point, I did have quote unquote privacy. Now, when they walk in, as I'm taking a shit, I guess I'm like, okay, shit is done. I need to get out of here. And as I'm wiping myself and I'm getting ready to get out of there, I realize I've taken there's a shit on my pants. Right, I've taken a shit on my pants. I can't put my pants on because there's this huge shit there, and now I'm starting to really get embarrassed. Because I can't put on my pants and I don't want anybody to see that I've taken a huge, massive dump on my pants. And the soldiers, as they're coming close, they're coming in and out of this place to look for. They're also looking for someone or something. And their commander is over there giving them orders. She's the one that looks familiar because I think we had worked together at some point, or we were exchanging information. So I'm assuming she was also looking for a demon somewhere. So anyway, as the soldiers are coming in and out, it's really getting embarrassing, and I think at some point this is when I decide to myself, you know how dreams work? That is, maybe as you're dreaming, there's that fluidity, but for me, it felt like, yeah, oh, there we go. For me, it felt like, as I'm remembering, it feels like there's a jump, but in the dream, it felt there's this unorthodox fluidity that the dream transitions in such a way that it feels like it is a continuous story, but when you try to remember, it really does feel like there were these jumps in how the story actually works. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm trying to find the key. I can pick it, so I don't actually need the key. So anyway, what I'm trying to get at is, at this point I'm like, you know what, I guess I didn't think this, but now in retrospect, it's like we have been fighting this war for so long, and look at me here. I find myself in such an embarrassing situation, and we have been fighting evil. We've been trying to fight the good fight for so long, and it's getting nowhere. It's just, all it's led to is embarrassment. So I'm like, I need to find something else to do. So I don't know where, but I find some gym shorts, and I decide I'm going to go and try something new. I'm going to go and play basketball. But
Doug, Debbie, it's your attorney. Listen, I don't know where this John Seed guy went to law school, but he's got us. He got you coming and going. At this rate, if you don't sell the orchard to John Seed, you're going to be out in your ass. This way you're going to keep your dignity, you know? I know it's a bitter pill to swallow, and it's going to feel like a loss. A theft, even. But at this point, with this guy, maybe you should just play it safe. Sorry again. And you'll get my bill in the mail.
Okay. So I'm humiliated, and I've gotten some gym shots, and I decide I'm going to go and play basketball. But I decide that I want to go and play really well. Like, I want to be really good at this. But remember, I haven't been playing basketball, so I need to become better. Now, I'm just making sense of how the dream played out. This isn't anything that I said explicitly, or that I knew that this is how I was feeling at the time. Just in retrospect, this seems like what was happening. So I feel like I need to play really well, so I feel inadequate. And so I think to myself, I need to get a healer, right? So I open up my phone and I Google healers. And so I think one of the things that made me look for a healer is because I had an itchy eye, and I couldn't, when you have a really itchy eye and you can't get something out of your eye, and so you can't see well, right? I had an itchy eye, and that was one of the things that was making me feel like I'm not going to play well. So I look for a healer who can help me make my eye better so that I can see the game. And as I am googling, I find the address for a witch, and the Google ad says that this witch is really good and she can help you improve or heal from anything. And I'm like, bet. I found my doctor. So 1 minute. I need to.
I ain't never seen bears like this before.
Thanks for your help on defense.
I think I wanna roll solo.
Got a job for you. All this ripe fruit is attracting bears.
1 second.
Under normal circumstances, we try and catch them and release them somewhere safer. These bears got into some of that bliss crap the cult had stored out back. It's making them act all crazy. It's too dangerous to catch them. We gotta put them down.
Anyway, so I've got my gym shots on. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that right now. I need to get to, what's up with this? Nope. I need to get to Falls End.
If you can hear me and you can help, we really need you.
That's my mission right now.
Cop seems friendly enough.
Anyway, I've got my gym shots. I'm going to go play basketball, but first I need to visit this witch so that I can get myself fixed up before the game. Lucky fucker. So I take off. I know exactly where I'm going to go, and as I'm completely transitioning in my life, and as I'm walking, I feel proud. Like, I feel like, yes, this is really good, this is great. And along the way, there's an Indian man who is talking to his daughters. They're kind of putting up decorations for something, right? And they're putting up decorations for something. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, he's putting up his decorations in the middle of the road. But, you know, it's just a passing thought, and I'm like, alright, I'm going to try and go. He had these lights, a wire with lights that he was putting up as he was talking to his daughter, and the wire had gone across the road. So I said, okay, you know, like Christmas lights, but bigger bulbs. So I'm like, alright, I'm gonna just walk under the wire and keep it moving. And for some reason there was a car in the middle of the road as well, and I was like, this is really stupid, but I'm not going to make a fight of it. And so as I get there, I'm about to go under, the Indian man, he rips them out for me to pass. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, you didn't really need to do that, because now you've the kind of guy I am. I'm thinking to myself, like, you don't have to do that for me, right? I could have, I'm like water. I could have flown around this little obstacle. You didn't have to do all that for me, right? Oof. Oh my days. Come on, dog. Yes. Anyway, like I was saying, I'm making my way. Remember, I'm making my way to this witch. Because I need to get fixed. Oh my days. Ha, got him. It's chaos. So this Indian guy, he rips his decorations for me, and I keep him moving. I feel really bad that he had to do that, but he did it, and I'm like, you know what, it's none of my business. If he chose to do that, that's his choice, and I keep it moving. And so I'm walking, and I'm walking now up some stairs, and I'm going up, and I'm going up, and I'm going up, and I'm going up towards the game, and I get up to the top floor. I get the top floor, I decide to ask, there's a coach, and I think that the coach and the sub coach, and I decide, you know what, I'm going to ask them to give me directions to where the witch is so that I can fix myself. And I explain to them, like, I have no, I don't actually explain anything to them. I just ask them, hey, where is this witch? Because as far as I'm concerned, it's none of their business, right? They just need to help me. I hate that cougar, but I know it'll be back. So the sub coach, he tells me that no, I'm not gonna tell you where the witch is, right? So I'm like, what's up with this guy? Why is he being so stubborn? Why is he being so, like, what is it to him? Why has he decided to be such an asshole? Right? So I asked him again, look, I need to go and see this witch. Please let me know how I can find her. So we're arguing, and he's adamant he's not going to tell me where she is. So then the main coach comes, and he's watching us, and he's not giving off any kind of energy that he feels one way or another. It's almost like he sympathizes with me at some point. So he points me in that direction. He says, go that way. She's that way. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. And so I started heading out that way. I started heading. It's not very far. It's like if there was a building, and we're the top floor of the building. If where the people were playing basketball was a gym. One second. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So if we were in a building and the top floor where I had gotten to, I was going to play my game, there was a gym somewhere. There's just like a big open space, and if you just walk down a corridor, there's a door at the end of that corridor, right? So the the coach tells me, walk to that end of the corridor, there's a prison there. Knock on that door and ask them for the witch. So I'm like, thank you. And as I'm walking, I'm like, a prison? Why is she? Oh, then I'm like, okay, she must be in jail. She must have been jailed, right? That kind of makes sense. I guess I'll get there and I will just ask to meet this witch, kind of like a visit, you know, like visitors. Like visitors at prison. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna knock and I'm gonna meet this witch. And in my mind, we're gonna sit somewhere or a desk and we're going to have a conversation. And I'm going to ask her to heal me. So I knock at the door, at this door, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm here to see the witch." And they're like, "Ah, okay." No. Okay, so there's something I missed. I was the sub coach who had refused to tell me where the witch was. He had said like the reason he wasn't going to tell me where she was because I was not dressed appropriately, right? Because I was in my gym shorts and a shirt. That's that. I just had that on. I just had my gym shorts and a shirt on, and so the substitute. Well, let me. I think what's the word for like the second in command coach? That guy. I'm going to call him the substitute coach. He said I wasn't dressed appropriately, right? And so he couldn't tell me where the witch was. But my feeling was that he just didn't want to tell me how to get to this witch. So, with that being said, when I knocked at the door and asked for the witch, I thought that they would give me shit about the way I was dressed, right? Because like the sub coach told me I wasn't dressed appropriately. Damn. I wasn't able to save the civilian. So when I knock on the door, because I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go in there and I am going to ask them to see the witch. If they let me in, they let me in. If they don't, they don't.
What would a sheriff do?
I thought I saw somebody that needed to be rescued here. I'm seeing things. So I knock on the main door and they let me in. So I'm like, oh, okay. I guess it's not as bad as substitute coach was making me believe it was. They let me in and I walk into the prison and as I'm walking through the prison, it's a really dingy prison. It's like, think of like an African, think of what you think an African, like an African prison would look like. That's, or like a Mexican prison. And so it's the kind of, it's like an open space. It's like a slum. It's like a slum inside of a prison, right? And as I'm walking, there are all these young men in the prison, and they're all, I feel really out of place, right? But as I'm walking, I'm realizing something. I'm realizing that there's something about this that seems so familiar, right? It's almost like I gotta get that. Anyway, I'm walking, and I'm seeing all these young men looking at me, and I'm feeling a little bit out of place, but again, it also feels so familiar. So anyway, as I'm walking, one of the young men...
Kid, be careful as you get near Fall's End. Cult has control of the whole town. You need to rescue Mary and Jerome and then kick those piggies right in the balls. Touch out.
You guys wanted it, right? So I'm walking, and one of the young men in the prison, he says to me, "You're gonna stay here," right? He says, like, "You're never leaving this place." And I think to myself, damn, actually, yeah, I kind of just walked into a lion's den without thinking about how things work, right? Because now I'm thinking to myself, actually, when I asked to see the witch, the guards, they were like, "Yeah, okay, sure, you can meet the witch. Follow me." And as we were walking, the guard told me, "Wait here, I'm going to go and check with the witch to see if she's willing to see you." So, and that should have given me the thought that, wait a minute, is she some kind of capone or some kind of boss in this prison that even the guards are checking with her to see if she's willing to see guests? And as I was waiting, that's when that young man came to me and told me that, "Hey, you know what? You're not leaving this place. You're going to stay here." So anyway, I'm like, you know what? To hell with that. Now, as I'm looking back, I'm thinking to myself, man, this whole time I've been feeling so confident, right? Almost like, because I'd been fighting this demon, and I had built up this sense of like, yes, I can get things done. I'm competent at what I do, even though he kept getting away from us. And that arrogance took me all the way into a prison to look for a witch so that I could get healed of something that wasn't even really a problem, right? I had this problem with my eye. It was really itchy, and I just wanted something simple. I just wanted somebody to heal it. So I was like, I wanted somebody to heal everything that was also wrong about me. So I was going to pretend that this eye was a problem, right? Because I wanted them to heal everything else about me. I need a vantage point. And that arrogance had... at the time, it didn't feel like arrogance, it just felt like confidence. Like, like, I don't think anything crazy is gonna happen to me, right? But now that I look back on it, it really does seem like it was arrogance. And second, anyway, that arrogance now I'm sitting there and I'm waiting for the witch, and I'm thinking to myself, yo, I think I was a little bit arrogant to walk into this place to get healing, and now I'm going to be trapped in this prison for a really long time. So then the guard comes back and he says, "The witch is ready to see you. Follow me." So I'm walking and I'm walking and I'm walking with him, I'm walking behind him. And sure and behold, sure enough, this guy walks me to a room at the top. It takes me up some stairs to a room up there, and it's like it's what you'd expect of. It's like this is the boss's room, right? This is where the boss sits, and the witch was in there with a few of her friends, and they were laughing and they were just having fun and chatting up and chopping it up. And he says, "You can go in there." Now I'm terrified because I'm like, wait a minute, what if I walk into this room and this witch decides that she doesn't want to ever let me go, right? And so the door is kind of cracked, and I see this really hideous looking witch, and she's laughing and says, come in. And I'm thinking to myself, oh damn, I'm a good looking guy. I don't know why I think that, but I know I'm definitely better looking than she is. And I'm thinking to myself, she might decide to keep me here as her slave. I'm almost going to have to do things for her, right? She's not gonna, even if she does heal me, it's going to come at a cost. And so I'm outside and I'm just taking my time. I just keep saying, come in. And that's the point. At that time, I kept thinking to myself, this all feels so familiar. It feels so familiar. And it's at that moment that I woke up. It's at that moment that I woke up. It's at that moment that I woke up, and something about that dream just made me say, you know what? I need to record this. I need to remember this. And I thought I might actually have a few of these. If I have more, because I have been having so many vivid dreams, I'm thinking I might end up actually recording a few of them. Now, somebody else, let's try and break it down to what I think this dream was talking about. What was happening in this dream? Somebody else might hear that and feel like, yo, this makes no sense. It's just a dream. But to me, it's significant because for the longest time I've been feeling trapped. I've been feeling stuck for such a long time. I've been feeling as though I've been fighting the good fight for so long. I've been trying to make this world a better place and have gotten absolutely nothing for it. It's kind of like Kenyans Gen Zs, right? Except I'm not talking about my part in Kenya's economic liberation. I'm talking about just generally the good fight, trying to make the world a better place, and feeling like nothing good has come of that for me. Choosing to fight the good fight. It's like I've been going around and round and round in circles. I've been fighting the same fight. I've been trying to do something good, and nothing has come out of it for so long. Right? And every time I think I'm learning something new to help me in this fight, it's like, oh damn. It's like a complete waste of time, right? Because you're just going round and round in circles. And this demon that I've been fighting for so long just keeps smiling at me like you're really wasting your time. And every time I think I've learned how to fight the good fights and, you know, make the world a better place, it's like, nope, you're just wasting your time. This world, it's almost like it's almost like God wants this world to stay exactly how it is, and you are wasting your time, right? So at some point it feels like I've gotten tired of that fight and have decided that I'm not going to fight that fight anymore. I need to find something else to do. But I've gotten so frustrated that it seems like it's almost like I'm going to a point where I'd be willing to turn to the very evil that I had been trying to fight to improve myself. And the dream, it's like the dream was warning me that I'll get trapped if I do that. And the reason it felt so familiar is because I do feel trapped. But I don't know that I turned to any kind of evil. Right? It doesn't make sense why I've never. Maybe the witch. Maybe there's somebody I've dated.
They've called in air support.
Maybe.
Take cover. That pilot is a chosen, one of the cult's best soldiers. If we don't take care of that plane, we're done for. Visual confirmed. Flight over now. I'm coming around from the side. Moving in for the kill.
Let's do the bottleneck.
They got air support! Look out! That plane's gonna rip us to pieces! Take it out with a machine gun!
Oh man, I hate those guys.
Take that
Kichwa
plane out
ngumu.
before it destroys the whole town. Use a machine gun.
Come in. Come in, my guy. Come on, there must be. There must be a medikit here somewhere. Whew. Crazy. Yeah, so I had that dream, man. And I guess the moral of the story is that fighting the good fight can feel really repetitive, and you can give up and turn to the very evil
There will be no more death or mourning or crying.
you set out to fight.
For I know the plans that I have made for you, declared the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. I don't claim to know God's plans, but I know a good thing when I see it. Getting quite a reputation, Deputy. You're the first good thing to happen to this valley in a long time.
A little help.
Are you trying to break your neck?
Just seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah.
Thanks. Shit. It's you. Sorry, didn't realize. All you've done, might as well add mover to the list, huh?
I thought that Eden's Gate confiscated all of this.
Hell, what kind of fair grave would I be if I didn't have a hidden stash? Learn from the best.
This town, it's been through a lot, Deputy. We owe you thanks, but
I know you're looking for your people. But the truth is, you ain't the only one in need of help. The pastor and I can only do so much.
if you could see about lending a hand, be sure to return the favor. What do you say? Ooh. Barry will get you squared away. When you get the chance, come by the church. I'll be there.
Talk about synergy. Talk about synchronicity.